Hello, welcome to this live stream from Impact Hub Stockholm. My name is Caitlin and I'm here today with previous Impact Hub member Natalia Ginghina. We're here to learn all about Edubuzz, a learning space concept based in Romania, which is quite fitting as today is Romania's National Day. Welcome, Natalia.
Thank you, happy to be here.
It's great to have you. Let's start with a brief overview of Edubuzz and what the concept is all about.
It's a bus, it's an old bus that we saved from being scrapped, and we turned it into an educational hub. And we're using it for children and parents in an underprivileged community in Romania. It's called Augustin. It's a village. And it took 45 days and here we are.
45 days to transform a whole bus.
Yes,
that is seriously impressive.
We are just as impressed ourselves for the amount of effort that came together to do this, to have this happen.
And what was your background? Like, what kind of inspired you to come up with this concept of Edubuzz?
For about 10 years, I worked with adults in different vulnerable life situations here in Sweden. I think the last time we met was while I was doing a project called Poftă-Bună, in which we were supporting Romanian women of Roma minority to support themselves through cooking and learning other life skills. In that process there, I came to the conclusion that if something had been done earlier in childhood, during the school years, many unnecessary struggles had been avoided. So it was a natural transition for me to the educational system. And in that transition, I also discovered an organization called Teach for Romania. And since I'm born in Romania, the decision was to move there and do work with children instead.
Oh, so was it during this time that you came up with this concept of Edubuzz that was kind of pairing the idea of creating an educational learning space with the idea of learning these critical life skills?
Exactly. I'm still working with adults, and now I'm also working with the entire family, not just the adults. And during the school hours, I could already see that the time in school is not sufficient. So it's the idea of after school, of another space in which kids can do homework. If we're talking about an underprivileged community, we already can see or we can imagine the struggles and the challenges that are there. From the start, we know it's big families on a very limited space, 40 square meters for many members of the family. So an extra space in which to be able to do homework and to support the children in school activities was necessary. In the same time, Edubuzz is not just for the kids that are in school. Of course, that in their interaction with the families in the community, we noticed and we realized that siblings of the kids that we have in school have unfortunately already dropped out of school since quite some time. Maybe they're 15, 16 and only been in school 1-2 years. So this space is also thought for them to help out with the basics, reading and writing, of course, and basic mathematics, counting, but also above that. That's why, for example, the space is furbished with ovens and with cooking and kitchen materials for online workshops for cooking. It's a library space, a relaxation space, and also the study places. But it's more than just school related.
That's really nice. It means that it's not only accessible to sort of people who are still in school, but also for their families who want to return back to education or do some more work.
Exactly. Also for the parents as well, they also need this support, and also other types of activities with and workshops with parents, like parenting workshops or financial education or interior design. As said, since we're talking about an underprivileged community, one of the challenges is the space that numerous families have to share. And also in this time of online education, Romania is now already completely fully online. It's quite difficult for 5 children maybe that are in school to share one room and simultaneously do classes. So this is an additional quiet space in which they can study.
Yeah, and also quite an interesting kind of learning environment, I guess. Like
Very interesting, yes.
on a bus, right? It's kind of
Yes,
crazy.
their favorite spot still remains, regardless of all the investment we've done. Their favorite space is the driver's seat.
Ah,
So
of course.
yeah.
And then so you finished with the transformation of the bus totally. So it's now been made into this great learning space. What's going to happen now? What's sort of the next plan?
Yeah, it's really since recently, since it's completely done and finished, and now it's open for being visited by the kids in the village and the parents and the wider community. And shortly we will start with more structured learning activities. We also have to adapt them in these times of corona, of pandemics, in which it's a limited number of people, of kids that can come in the space. So we're starting to use it as it was meant and designed to be used.
Oh, nice. And then so going forward now, is there much support that's still needed, and how can you sort of start to get the project like up and running?
A lot of support is needed.
Yeah.
It is a grassroots initiative, but it's successful only thanks to the and depending on the contribution of the wider community. And this is how we managed to get so far in just 45 days. It was a big amount of people that contributed with gifts of the mind, so to speak, of the heart, as in raising awareness that this is happening and trying to gather, as said, the wider community to contribute, each in its in his own way. We're still searching and gathering skills set, so people who felt that they have something to offer, a skill set and the passion for something that also could be interesting and useful for the children and the parents in the community. And of course the support, the financial support and resource support, as said. I cannot repeat that enough. It is an underprivileged community with challenges of all kinds. So education is not just about the child and the school hours there, generally just finishing maybe around lunchtime or before lunchtime, but it takes a village to raise a child. So contributions of all kinds, are mind, heart, financial, are gladly welcomed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess in terms of the longer term support, in terms of it becoming a bigger project.
Yes, there are. The plan is much bigger than that. So the bus is an instrument and is an attraction point and is there to serve us for the space need. But we imagine more such pockets of quietness, for example, of a safe and welcoming space for kids to do homework and to learn in their own pace and in their own style. And for that, we imagined, as said, this wider community coming together to support. Alongside the bus, in the long run, we are also trying to refurbish a barn that was kindly donated to us to use alongside the land that the bus is on. There is also, I said, a barn, and there we are planning to do some restrooms, to build some restrooms and access to a shower and to washing machines. I know it sounds very basic, but this is, for example, one of the reasons why kids sometimes are missing or are skipping school. If they had access to running water constantly, then they wouldn't have to spend time that they would otherwise be in school and gather water. This has happened, and this is something that we've locally solved in the case of one family, but we would like to solve that for a bigger number of people in the community. And this space that we're having now alongside the bus could solve such an issue that is in the long run hindering kids from coming into school and finishing school.
And what kind of impact do you expect to see in the longer term?
In the longer term, if we count a few years, like 3.5 years from now, I expect to see more kids finishing 8 years of school. That would be the kids that I've already been teaching the last year, for example. It will be time in 3.5 years for them to finish 8th grade, among others. And then it's also, I would say, being open to dream more. It's hard to measure just how much kids dream, but to see that they start to open up and they start to have objectives and goals and follow those, and to feel this vibe that it's safe and it's okay to dream, and dreams do come true. We'll see how we measure that exactly, but this in terms of how many kids stay in school, how many kids are able to read and write, and how many kids are feel open to dream more than they do today.
Oh, well, it sounds really exciting. I'd love to hear more about how we can get involved.
So I think the best is to start with a chat and see what it is that we can sync and synchronize on. I mentioned already skill set and passion that one has. I mentioned raising awareness of the challenges and the solutions that we see to the conditions there. And financially, I think somewhere is a Swish number for donations and other resources. If we are only to briefly speak about online school, we have some tablets and we have some devices, but we're lacking headphones. And once you have 5 kids sharing the same bed because they don't have tables and such, headphones and laptop tables, and it's so many resources that starting off with a chat, with a text message on the project on a Edubuzz page, or a comment in this video, it's a perfect starting point.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm so excited to hear more about the project, and we can find you on Facebook, right? And we can get all the updates on how the project's going. Yes,
it's a Edubuzz page, and I'm also planning a page in Swedish called På plats I Rumänien. The idea is to share more about what is happening locally.
And to all the people who are watching now, is there something or a message that you want to share?
Welcome to contribute to this project. It is a locally based initiative, but it's something that berör oss alla. I'm there when we are voluntarily helping this out and started this and trying to make it happen. But of course, it takes a village to raise a child. So for us all, feel welcome to contribute. Skills-wise, raising awareness, financially, we are here as a local contact group, but welcome.
And of course, if like us, you'd like to stay up to date with the progress of Edubuzz, then you can do by following their Facebook page. And don't forget to swish to the number on your screen. From all of us at Impact Hub, thank you so much and stay safe.